A space of love, a space of healing, and a space of growth. This podcast was created to break generational curses. I'm your host, Pink Rose. Welcome to the Don't Recycle Projects. What's up, world? Welcome back to the Don't Recycle Project. I am the host, Pink Rose. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to join me back on the yellow couch. I am joined by a very, very special guest, a friend of mine. Miss Sandy Webb is in the building.
Hello, everybody.
We're both in the medical field, so we both work in the mental health
nurses.
Yeah. So, I brought Sandy on because when I met Sandy, we met, I'm not even going to go into how we met. Because it's just.
I had to think about it. I was like, how did we meet?
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
That's irrelevant, actually.
To the bigger picture. But the fact is, we met and it just we just always been aligned, it seems like, as far as our conversations, the books we read.
Actually, the first day we met, that patient told us that we look like best friends.
Right. It was a patient. And we were like,
before.
And mind you, my hair was this long. And I'm like.
He was like, do y'all know each other? Y'all look like best friends.
Never worked with her, but you know what? Here we are on the yellow couch, so I'm excited to have Sandy here. But I brought Sandy on because it's for one, it's I think she's so dope as far as her resilience. I'm gonna let you get into again your family history and just things that what made you who you are today. But just meeting Sandy and just seeing this woman's a teacher. She's a student nurse leader. She got so many different hats she wears, and I'm just I admire the hustle and the grind. I want to know where did that come from for you?
Yeah, so from an early age, I didn't really have the best upbringing, the best childhood, but one thing I always had was I always knew I was going to be great. Where my mom may have faltered in other areas, she never faltered in telling me you can do anything. You're going to be the greatest. She believed in me more than she believed in herself. She believed in me a lot. So I really internalized that as a child.
Yeah.
So that's really where the tenacity came from. So even with all the bumps in the road that I had, growing up, I held on to that at least.
Yeah.
So I think that's what really drove me.
I feel we was talking, it's like a LA thing. Y'all got this hustle, this.
You have to, or you're going to be on the street. What you going to do?
Right, the rent. We was talking about the rent. The rent's crazy out here. It's
my one bedroom is
it's a make something out of nothing kind of mentality that y'all have out here that I admire. Yeah. And just being around that energy, and just seeing you even at work, we're in the same space, but it's just seeing you go from you'll be working alongside me one day, the next day you walking in your white coat as the instructor, and I'm that's so dope because as a black woman, to see that people wouldn't expect that from you. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel it's expected to see us in positions of hierarchy. You know what I mean?
It's important that we do it because it needs to be expected.
Exactly.
It needs to be expected.
And that's sad that we don't expect that.
I shouldn't be a surprise.
Right.
Yeah. It's important to be in those spaces. I went to Compton College for my RN, and it was a lot of black teachers there, and I feel that really did something for me. That really inspired me to see those people that are just like me be in these spaces, and I think that's one of the reasons why I became a teacher so quickly.
Yeah.
After I became a nurse and the opportunity was presented to myself, then I always thought about these people made an impact on me, and I modeled the ones I modeled those ones that made the impact on me, and I'm able to do it for the future of nurses, and that's my favorite job. That's my favorite job. I enjoy being a nurse, but the teacher's my favorite.
That's so dope that you were able to see that though, because coming from where I'm from, it's almost the exact opposite. I didn't see it at all. If I walked in my class and saw a black teacher, it would have been the talk of the town. Who is this new teacher that you know what I'm saying? So for me, it just felt it just wasn't something that I was used to seeing.
Representation is important.
It really is.
Because I feel it's so many people that I've seen that I've latched onto, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a vibrational latch. I'm like, this person looks like
they look like me, or something that I want to.
Something I want to be. So, you know, they're doing what I feel like I could do, or you just feel like a connection to them, and you don't know why, but it makes you like research more into it. So I just think it's important to have the representation, because it's like you can be the first, but it's a whole other hurdle to visualize something you've never seen versus being able to visualize something that
you got to have a vivid imagination at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean. Which you can, but it helps. It definitely helps.
What was it like growing up in LA, like having to like? Do you feel like
LA is ghetto? LA is ghetto. Well, the part of LA
I love LA.
Yeah, it's ghetto. The part that I grew up in was pretty ghetto, but I swear if you ask like 5 people that are like in different kind of like economic classes or races or things like that, they will give you 5 different answers to what it's like growing up in LA. I feel like coming from the lower class and being black, like I didn't even know.
Are you black, Sandy? You kind of light skin.
See, don't start. I'm definitely black, and I have my DNA results to prove it. I have my ancestry DNA results to prove it. But yeah, being black as I am,
black,
but my parents are black. Being black as I am, I growing up in the hood, like I didn't see anybody but blacks and Mexicans until I went to middle school out of the hood. So yeah, it's like it's very like a limited space of what you see. You don't see a lot of people that are making a lot of money or successful or going to college or things like that. A lot of people I'm a first generation college student.
That's crazy.
So there's just not a lot of examples. Like most people in my family don't own a home. There's just so many things that being first generation of those kind of things that you have to navigate those spaces, and you don't even have a mentor. You don't even have I mean, that's why social media is so great, because back then all you had was what's in front of you. A lot of the young people now they can see the world, but back then, growing up in LA, all I saw was gangs and I mean, that's basically it. All I saw was gangs, drug dealers,
illegal activity.
Yeah, a lot of illegal activity. So I idolized hustlers. I idolized gang members. I wanted to be a gang member.
You said that, and I'm like, man, this woman wanted to be a gang member. She ended up being on her way to be a psychiatric nurse practitioner, like walking in hospitals with authority, like teaching classes and like leading the next generation. Like that's just crazy.
If I could have grown to be Nino Brown or Dollar Bill from the Players Club, or like these are my idols. Like I was like, when I grow up, I'm gonna be just like that.
So like, what shifted though? Like, how did you make that shift? Like, and say like,
the shift was really exposure.
Yeah,
because once my family caught wind of my aspirations. Yeah. And they were like,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you can't go to school in the hood no more. So luckily my godmom had moved to a better neighborhood, and they ended up using her address for me to go to a school that had more diversity and was more in the middle class neighborhood. So I knew, so I was still with black people, but middle class blacks. Then I started going to school I had never went to school with whites and Asians prior to 6th grade.
Okay.
So, going to school with them, and they had a different mentality because their parents, had different mentality. So now I'm going to school with people whose parents are doctors and lawyers.
So
and
you're
things
exposed through them.
Yeah. So
that's so important. Exposure is everything. Like,
exposure is everything.
It's like once you see it, now you know it's like a reality.
Yeah.
And then your mind can now imagine that for yourself.
Yeah.
Because like I know growing up in the small town that I'm from, it's like I didn't see, like, it was just like from where I'm from, it's normal to be a nurse. It's normal to just have like, and there's nothing wrong with nursing at all. Like I love nursing for what it's able to do for my life and how I can provide for my family.
Yeah.
But as far as like, I feel like I would love to have like more exploration with the arts for myself. And I didn't have that kind of exposure as of like being in LA. Arts is everywhere. Seeing graffiti.
Everybody's an artist.
Everybody's an artist. Everybody's a creative. And it's like from where I'm from, everybody's kind of like safe.
Yeah.
And like you get your 9 to 5. You stay with that, you get your benefits, and you retire at 65, you marry somebody, it was very like by the book.
Yeah.
So for me doing what I'm doing right now, I kind of like had to be the one for myself to like step out of that.
It's important to surround yourself in the environment that is going to allow for your growth in whatever area you want to grow in, for sure. It's very hard to grow, like, I mean, even you can't grow certain plants in certain environments. So it's like, it's hard for you to be like, I want to grow a plant in the desert.
Right.
So you have to get to the point, I mean, find the inspiration and find what the best environment for you is.
I think there was like a meme there was like a shark, and it was like a shark, if it's put in a fish tank, it will only grow like a certain amount of feet long or whatever.
Exactly. And you're constantly expanding your fish tank.
Right.
Like, when I was younger, my fish tank was, this, or it was for years when my fish tank was being a registered nurse.
Right.
When I became a registered nurse, My fish tank, not that. My fish tank is, you know, now I'm in school to be a nurse practitioner.
And beyond that is
and beyond that, you know, I got my own little businesses that I do. So, the tank should never stop. You got to get a bigger tank.
What would you tell your younger self, like, just looking in hindsight, like, from the knowledge you've gained now in your journey, like, as far as, like, how you see the world?
For me, honestly, I wouldn't tell my younger self nothing. And if people ask the question all the time, I always think, like, I do not want to alter my trajectory. Like, I feel like my trajectory is fire.
That's real.
Like, I don't want.
That's real.
Yeah, I'm at a good place. I feel like I know what I want. I know how to get most of the things that I know, like, so I wouldn't tell them nothing. I would probably just tell them relax, like it's gonna be cool.
It's gonna work out,
and then just let them do what they was gonna do.
Yeah, because like I think that's the misconception of like it's supposed to be this perfectly like smooth trail like your entire life, but it's no
smooth trail.
Those bad times, everybody's trajectory is like. Yeah, those, my lows made me like it was my lows that made me. The highs was like the beautiful like but the lows like that like grit I had to like develop like that. Yeah. You know, just perseverance.
It's all part of the process.
It was like what made me. That was like the chipping away at the actual sculpture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now that people see the sculpture, it's like, oh, that's beautiful. But it's like, man, like you don't understand. This is what made me though.
Yeah.
You can't skip the process.
No, you can't skip the process. I think that's really a problem with a lot of people is they don't want they see you for what you are now, but they don't they don't want to be you for real. They don't know where you come from and, the things you had to overcome in life. Like, I remember, like, I was working with a nurse who was saying, like, well, that patient, she was in foster care. So that's why she's like that. Like, she's not going to, the percentage of people is so low that are successful from that environment.
Yeah.
And I told her, like, I'm in foster care. I went to, like, I was in foster care. She was shocked. She was like, oh, then she wants to know so much more. She was so intrigued. But look how she made that broad statement and crossed her off.
That whole, like, for you to change that whole, because honestly, Sandy, like, when I hear foster care, it used to be like, oh, misfortunate, like, you know what I'm saying? But everybody who's in foster care is not like some like sad story. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people like you who took that and you still made it shake. Your foster parents are probably amazing.
I know a few.
Yeah.
Well, no, my foster parents was not amazing, but look, I had because everybody has their own journey. But yeah, I was fortunate that my godmother took over and, and helped me a lot to where I didn't have to be in the place where, I was during foster care so that, to minimize the damage that foster care caused. But I wasn't in foster care my whole childhood. Yeah. My mom raised me, up until 9. I was in foster care until about 14.
Okay.
So it was a portion, but it's a significant portion of your growth as a youth. So it did,
that's some important
produce
years.
Some challenges. Yeah, it was some very important years. But I would say anything about like I wouldn't say it's like it's a misfortune.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a challenge. It's definitely traumatic.
Do you feel like it made like no, for sure. I know it's traumatic, but it's like do you feel like it made you like feel like you were like missing something like you're very confident. Like I feel like you're very confident and I'm like, like I see you walk in rooms and just how you interact. Like you're super confident. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like that made you have to like develop this like?
I feel like I had that before foster care because, like I said, when my mom where she felt that she did not feel encouragement. Like she told me all the time that I could do anything.
Right there.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I never had stage fright.
Wow.
Like when I had to do plays when I was younger, they was like, "Oh, this play is for the big kids. They're gonna be in the star. Y'all's gonna come out and hold a sign or something." I was like, "Nah, I can do the big role. Right. Like I know the lines." And I was like 6, and they were like, "Well, she do know them. Like, give it to
her up there."
I never had when other kids used to come out and do their Easter speech and cry. They used to irritate me. I used to be like, you know what, just let me do all of the speeches if they're gonna sit up there and cry. Like, what's up? But I just think that was something I developed from like positive reinforcement, and my mom taught me like how to read early and just things that built my confidence up to, show that like I'm intelligent.
Shout out to your mom for that, because that's I feel like that to me, like as you said, even if she didn't like have all the like I's dotted and T's crossed,
I mean, like, nobody does.
To me, like as we were talking earlier, like as far as like this like idea that things are supposed to be like this fantasy that we've been sold. It's supposed to look like this. Your parents are supposed to be like this, and sometimes it's not going to be that. But if they gave you like some tools. Like I feel like that was a tool she gave you.
You got to take what they can give you.
You got to take what they can give you,
and then build the rest from wherever you can get it from.
Right.
Because I had different. It wasn't like I needed to get everything from one person.
And don't resent them for like what they couldn't give you, like because they wasn't even able to give themselves that.
I think that's something you grasp when you're older.
That's true.
Like
when
you're younger, you're like
type of revelation.
You're just so pissed at everything when you're a teenager. When you get to a young adult, you're like, why didn't you? But your parents are humans too.
They're human,
like,
right?
I'm 35. When my mom was 35, I was 13. So and I don't have everything figured out.
Yeah.
So she didn't have everything figured out, for
the same way I don't have it figured out with my kids, and I know I make mistakes daily, but it's like I don't even call them mistakes. Like I'm growing. I've never done this before. Yeah. So like
you're just human just like everybody else.
When they get my age, they'll probably have that same moment where they're like, man, my mom was just figuring it out.
I think you have to have that moment to heal yourself.
Yeah, you have to.
You can't keep blaming and
being a victim, right?
Yeah, you can't. I used to be, I feel like I was big on being a victim and when I first got out of foster care, I was big on
I can see that,
oh, look what happened to me. Yeah. And I mean, it's unfortunate. It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, but it comes a time in your life where you have to cut that out. Like it's not. This is not productive, and it's not helping me.
It's not moving me forward.
Yeah, it's not moving you forward. So you have to put your trauma in the place that it belongs in your life, and stop letting it be in your present.
That's a word.
Yeah.
How do you take care of your mental health? Like, we're nurses, right? So it's like we work in the mental health field. We see so much on a daily. Yeah. I think we're kind of numb to it now. I know I am. Like, I feel like the stuff that we see, I feel like somebody who doesn't work in that field, if they walked in and saw the things we do and we experience daily, they would be like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like,
somebody slammed their head through the nurse's station and you just like,
right? We're like,
like, can you get up? Like,
really, you want some nicotine gum?
Right. That's what they want.
So it's like we're just so used to it.
Yeah.
But like, it does get heavy some days. Like people ask me all the time, like, how is that? I'm sure that's heavy, and I'm like, I know I'm kind of like used to it, but it does get heavy. So like, what do you do? Like I know me, I have to like create like this. Doing things like this helps me like pour back into myself. Yeah. Or going to the spa, reading books, just being alone.
Yeah, I'm really big on being alone.
Yeah.
So I really like having that space to just like decompress. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes I'll just watch shows that I enjoy or just read certain books. Like I really like reading self-help books. Yeah. Because I feel like it helps me personally. Like I feel like most research, like I'll do research, but most research is me search. So it's like
the more I learn, the more it's like
it's like the topics that are really like inspiring to me or that I really are taken to is because I need it.
Right.
And so then I take that information and it's also helpful, in my career and where I'm going. Right. Where I want to be a nurse practitioner. So I think that those things help me with my mental health a lot. And then just being around people that I love with like genuine energy, or being around people who have the same type of goals and aspirations. Right. Those are the things that really keep me going.
We was talking about a book, The Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Like that.
There's so many books I love.
There's so many books, right? But it's like that one, like
The Atomic Habits is one of one.
I think it speaks a lot to like what we're talking about as far as like it's basically, if you have not read it, it's a book. I forget the author, but I'll post a link of the book so you can check it out and get your own copy. Yeah. But the book talks about
it's gold though. It's pretty. The book is gold.
It is pretty. Like but it talks about just basically becoming a better version of yourself, like the little tiny habits every day. Like in the littlest things that turn out to be the big things and turn out to be your character. It turns out to be who you are. And it's like, I feel like that speaks so much from coming from like one environment. Like,
I think what people don't understand about Atomic Habits is they think it's something that you have to get the book and do.
Right.
You are doing Atomic Habits whether you read this book or not.
Exactly.
Like, so even if you're not doing Atomic Habits and you're like, oh, I want to do this, but I'm not doing anything towards it, you're actually doing the opposite every day that you're not doing it towards it. So it's
you're either moving forward, as you said, or moving backwards.
Yeah, you can't stay in one space. There is no neutral in life.
Because time is always moving.
Exactly.
So it's like, as long as time is moving, you're either getting older and still staying stagnant.
Yeah.
Or, because you're not getting no younger.
You're not getting no younger.
Or you're getting older and you're moving forward with time. So it's like, but there is no like,
the more you don't do something, you're building the opposite habit, but you're always building a habit. Like, so it's like the people think they're doing nothing. You're never doing nothing.
Right.
You're never doing nothing. So it's like I like Atomic Habits for sure. That the getting 1% better at things every day.
Right.
That really helps, especially because it's so
overwhelming. It's so minute, right?
Yeah, and it can be overwhelming sometimes. Our goals can be. I mean, I'm a big thinker.
Me too.
So sometimes my goal is
like way out there at the finish line with it.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just start with You know, like, let's just take a step.
Right. Sometimes my goal is like, how the hell are you going to get there?
Right.
Like, from here. But
the more you walk, each step you take, it becomes more and more like realistic when you finally see that, like, oh, now I'm the bigger picture. Even like me starting this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, just start. Like, I see myself on a big...
That's the thing, too. People don't just start.
I see myself on a big network, but I'm not going to get from my home, sitting on my couch, thinking about it, to the big network. Like, I got to start here and get good at this, master this level, and be willing to look bad doing this, be willing to, like, be a beginner at doing this.
Yeah, you have to.
And just be creative, and then it'll build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, people, like you said, are not willing to just start. Mm-hmm. It's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like you're not going to start where you finish. And that's like what this topic is about today.
Yeah.
You don't start, where you start does not have to be where you finish.
At all.
Like, the start is only the start. Like, it's like playing a game of Uno. Like, you get these cards, right? And it's like, you can, like, you know, by the time you, like, trade them hands out a couple times, you got a winning hand now.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to, is it Uno I'm thinking of, or is it Spades? One of them card games, but.
I don't know how to play Spades. That's going to go back to, like, Are You Black?
See, I told you.
I don't know how to play
I said,
Spades.
Sandy, are you black?
Whatever.
You a little light skinned, but.
You're not the darkest. You're not the darkest friend.
I'm not. But look, I can't. I'm sensitive. I'm a Cancer, so let me get off that.
Okay, but yeah, because we're not gonna get into why I'm like, because that's gonna be a whole other situation.
She's an LA man. They go in. I'll be sitting here like, we gotta pause.
I don't want to get into slavery and why I'm like, because there's no white people in my family, but we'll move past it.
No, for real, like, back to you don't have to start, like, how you start does not have to be how you finish. Like, that real talk, back to that, like, you have to, like, understand, it doesn't matter if you started in foster care, in the hood, with a great family, because I think some people think because they came from a great family.
Yeah, I know some people had the Head Start, and I'm like, man, if I had your Head Start, like,
you had a whole inheritance, and you had like a family that supported
I'll pay for whatever college you want to go to. I'll give you an internship or whatever you want to do.
You had all these things,
and they don't do nothing. They don't do shit with it. They're just like.
But while you was over there having to figure out how to get it and hustle a little bit harder, it made you quicker, it made you smarter, it made you more, like, it gave you a different kind of hunger.
But it's crazy. It's like sometimes I can't tell. Like, I can't tell, like, if I had been born in a situation, would I be worse or better? Like, I can't. That's why I wouldn't tell my old self nothing.
Right.
Because it's like, where I'm at is good. Like, and I really can't determine whether if I had been born in a richer family or you know, a family with more connections, would I have been further or would I have felt like I don't have to do nothing?
But see, my thing is, like, I feel like that too, but I feel like we are constantly creating. Like, I was reading about quantum leaping, and it's like, I feel like for me, I was like laughing with myself earlier. I was getting in the car, and I'm like, I feel like such a hippie. I was getting in my car, my locks is shaking.
You are a hippie.
I'm over here like with my coffee, just vibing by myself, right? And I'm like, I'm really out here living LA life. Like, I'm really like a LA, like my 35-year-old self is like this LA, like, person, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I had to like turn into that, like, because I could still be in my hometown operating in that space. So it's like, I had to like believe something about myself and make steps to like I turned into like a whole different person. Like, I'm playing a different character than what I would have been if I would have stayed on that trajectory.
Right.
Like 10 years ago. So it's like, I feel like there also is like, not saying I would go back and tell my younger self anything, but I feel like that's like a whole different person that was living a whole different, like, that was like a whole different version of myself, honestly. Yeah. I feel like I made a whole nother identity, is what I'm saying. So I feel like sometimes it's not about going back and telling that person anything.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that ain't even the person you, like, I'm not even that person no more.
That's true.
So it's like,
and that person may not even be ready to receive a message from the future.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, you have to be in a certain mindset to even receive certain things.
Right.
There's certain books that, like, because one of my favorite books is The Master Key System. I love that book. You
sent me that one.
Yeah. But that book, I started reading it when I was, like, in 2009, so I was, like, 21. And there's no way that I'm getting the same thing that I got when I was 21 than if I listen to the audiobook now.
Right. It's going to resonate a whole different way.
Yeah, so I don't even think I would have got the message from my older self at 18. Like,
it's
at
like
17.
if you're evolving, like, you're literally turning into different people, like, as you like grow.
You don't even have the brainwaves to
like if I sit in the room with some of the people that I used to hang with, like, I can't even like gossip. Like, I used to be able to.
Yeah.
I used to be able to like have like small talk and all these things, but it's like now it's like if it ain't, I'm not saying I'm like money hungry or so, like, but it's like if it's not intentional, if this isn't aligned like with anything that I got going on, like, I don't even have the capacity to even like take in what this is about. Like, small talk just don't even interest me no more, versus like me 10 years ago, I would have sat down, went there, what you got in my feelings about what you and your feelings about, let my energy get messed up based off your, you know what I'm saying? Like, now it's like, I just be quiet if it don't align with what I'm even on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a growth for me to get there to that person. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like it's like a lot of like, it's a lot about like changing who you are, and it's okay to like identify as a new person. Like people have to get out of this thought that like who you are, like who people have always known you as is who you're stuck as.
Yeah, so I mean that's always a struggle because like especially like having like childhood friends and stuff like that. Like for me, like I have friends from way back, and I have friends that I have let go in the process.
Okay.
But for me, I just feel like you have to be willing to have those conversations about who people are now, presently. Not this was my best friend in high school, or this was my best friend, when we used to go to the club in our 20s.
Right.
But it's like it's all about like other people. If you know what your trajectory is, you have to know what other people's are too. You have to.
Boom.
And if it's not in the same way, like you have to understand that it can hinder yours.
It's not alignment.
Yeah.
If we no longer walking along, because I don't want to drag nobody along or make you come to my path, and I don't want to
dragging nobody,
and I don't want to be forced onto your path. But if we're not going the same direction, this is, you know what I mean? Like,
and I feel like it'll be made obvious over and over. Like you won't have to like sit there and wonder like.
But my younger self, I feel like I didn't pay attention to them clues, so I tried to like force it, like even down to relationships, trying to force it to work out or make sense due to like, different insecurities, fear of being alone. Like, dang, I need a team with me. I need this person. But it's like, you have to be willing to like be alone and really like master yourself, or else you will be like stuck around people. You've outgrown situations, places, people. And you'll be forcing it.
One thing I will say that I learned about being alone recently is that being alone does not help you be better in relationships. And it's okay like to get like confident and safe and feel like good about yourself and learn more about yourself and alone. But just know that when you get in a relationship, you will have to work on
integrating.
Yeah,
person.
You will have to work on the same issues that you had prior relationship wise, because you're not gonna have those issues alone.
They trigger those issues.
Yeah, you're not gonna have issues alone.
Right.
Yeah. So
I think it's important that you do allow, like, if somebody does come into your life, allow that so that you can. Whatever you need to learn from, like, you can't avoid the growth that needs to happen there. Like, no matter.
Some growth you can only get with another person. Right. You cannot get by yourself. That's for sure.
No, for real. Like, I've experienced that myself. Like, dating is like, man, like, I'll be great by myself, but then it's like, you with somebody, it's like, oh, man, like.
Man, fantastic by myself. I get a relationship, and I'm like, oh, that still bothers me?
Oh.
I'm still
breaking up.
Yeah, I'm still dealing with that. See, no, you're doing too much. That's the problem. You can't break up with everybody that challenges you. Like,
This ain't gonna work.
See, I don't know what to play with you.
Yeah, but no, for real. It's like, you're right. Like, people challenge us. And I feel like it's important to have people around you who do challenge you.
Yeah.
Like, your team, even down to, like, just your friends. Like, if we're not challenging one another, what are we doing? Yeah,
some people can't handle, like, challenging people. I think there's a difference in, like, people who inspire you to grow and people who are, like a hater. So, like, there's a difference. Like, you definitely don't let those people, like, those people are not really here for you and your growth. They're just like, being negative and things like that. But there are people who will just, challenge you, like, what about this? What about that? Like, you don't think about this. Like, they won't let you take shortcuts. They won't let you, have the wrong mindset about something and just keep it going. Because I mean, that's what real friends are. We're not going to let you sit here and be stupid.
Exactly.
Like, it's like,
but can you handle that?
You have to be able to handle it, but you have to you have to know the heart of people,
right?
Because you will be offended by it. Because I mean, I'm not the best.
Your delivery may not be the best.
Yeah, my delivery can be crazy sometimes.
Your intent was well, though.
Yeah, but most people take my delivery well, even though I know I'm like, that probably sounded crazy, but they know, like, if I'm talking to you at all, like, it's because I see something in you, or like I feel like I could help you in a certain way, a certain aspect. But because if I don't like you, I'm not gonna talk to you at all.
Right.
I'm not gonna waste my time saying nothing rude to you.
Like, that's real though. It's like, I mean, if I don't got nothing nice to say, in a sense, like, I'm not gonna say nothing at all. Like, and nice in this aspect, it's not like nice. Like, it feels good, but it's beneficial to you. Like, I'm giving you like real feedback from like a good place. Like, when did you because you read so many books, like, you're on all these finance podcasts, like, you really into that space. That's what I also admire about you. Like, the way you like. I don't know if that's from being born in LA and raised in LA. You just gotta have that, like, know how to say.
There's a lot of broke people in LA.
Huh?
It's a lot of broke people in LA that don't know nothing about finances.
But just like having this, like,
not from being born in LA.
This hustle, like, you know how to save money, like.
Yeah.
Where did you get that like interest in like finance and like?
I feel like I got interested in finance from being poor and like I just didn't want to be it. So it's like sometimes
I gotta learn.
Yeah, I was just like I would look at other adults when I was young and like I would literally think like, this person has $20. They're about to go buy something for $22. They're gonna borrow the $2. And then they're gonna be like asking for gas, asking for food. Right. And and early young, I knew like I don't want to be like that.
Right.
I didn't like the feeling of not knowing what's gonna happen next. You know. So I
So safety, like
it's really safety. Like really, I mean, I kind of went above and beyond. Like I kind of got like really like
frugal,
Mr. Scrooge. Yeah. but like. It is definitely like financial security was like top on my list of. I think it also coming from being in foster care because you don't have a foundation, you don't feel safe.
So that's like your safe place. Like you've created that like
no
like matter what, nobody has
my thing.
I control this now.
I control this exactly. Yeah. So
I feel that.
That's what really like probably made me get into like just different. And I mean, so much information. That they really could just snowball into each other. Like, you really don't have no excuse for not knowing anything in 2024. Yeah. Nobody's
podcasts,
nothing's just hidden.
YouTube, so many different like people dropping so many gems
all day.
Right.
All day. I mean, there's a lot of nonsense out there too. So you have to
if you're in a certain wave, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna find your people.
Like you'll see things, you'll see a podcast and be like, that's just what I was thinking about.
Like I don't resonate with everybody.
And then they'll recommend a book, and then some in the book will spark this, and it's all it's all part of the journey.
Like this podcast may not resonate with everybody, but for those who is supposed to resonate with, like they're gonna hopefully gain some gems from this. So it's like there's somebody for everybody. There's no excuse.
You may not be better to be financially better right now, but you could be better in some way. And that'll snowball into like I done got better in this area. Now I'm looking for a new area. Eventually you'll get to this, you'll get to that. Everybody has to start off somewhere. Yeah, I definitely didn't always have a savings or always have investments.
Yeah.
But you find ways like that. I mean that's one of the reasons that I picked nursing. It's bad to say. People be like, don't say you pick nursing for money.
Yeah, but it's a stable career though. It's like
it was both. Like it was also like. If I wouldn't get into a career where it's like, I'm passionate about mental health,
right,
and I want to help people, but if it paid $2 an hour, I would not do it.
I mean, at the end of the day,
it would be a hobby. I would volunteer. but I would have picked another job to survive off of.
And I think that part, like you can kind of sometimes feel bad when you're like obviously I don't it's not just because of money why I do nursing, but it's like at the end of the day, like what do y'all think I am, a robot? I have real bills, I have real kids, I have real things going on that cost. So it's like I would be lying to say
finance is a part of your mental health.
It is a part of my mental health.
I don't care what nobody say. Like people act like it's like it's so separate, it's so taboo to talk about money. It's important to talk about money.
It's a big part of our lives.
If you don't have it, you get stressed.
I'm depressed.
You get stressed. Now you got diseases. Stress can snowball on all type of stuff.
Stress is like the foundation of a lot of things.
Your kids have less opportunities. You have less opportunities.
You don't have exposure. You don't have the funds to gain exposure. Like everything costs, and it's like
you don't have the space to figure out what you're good at,
right?
Because you always have to be struggling check to check. 100%.
I'm not so much worried about the money. It's about what money can do for me. Like
it's about buying time and freedom. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the part that I feel like it's not that nursing is just like this. I'm not getting rich off of nursing, but it is a stable career. And I, for anybody who's looking for a stable, career where you can go
to nursing school.
Go to nursing school.
I may be a teacher.
She might be your teacher. For real.
Another reason I want to be a teacher too is because I had some teachers that inspired me, but I also had some teachers that did not inspire me. Like they were like, you have those teachers, they say like nurses eat their young, and they're like
that about
so
the whole
mean.
Nursing coach, right?
Yeah, so I just wanted to be a teacher that provided a space where it's like, okay, my class is like a break from being treated like bad, like just had like so much stress, so much like they still learn in my class, and everything still gets done. They be focused on like, do your students have on ankle socks today?
Man,
what socks you have to wear to work? They tell you?
I don't even wear socks sometimes, honestly.
See, the office will call me and be like, hey, your student had on ankle socks today. I'm more focused on what they need to get from this class to be good nurses.
But guess what? I'm a great nurse.
Yeah.
I say, let me backtrack right there. I don't wear scrubs. Sometimes I may, depending on what the fit is. But I am a great nurse.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
that
like
doesn't determine what kind of nurse you're going to be. You can have the figs on and the Stanley Cup and be trash. I'm saying.
I see some nurses doing all that, but then they like...
And they mean, and they don't care.
They don't like the patients. They're annoyed when the patient asks them for anything. So it's like, are you in this for the money?
Yeah.
Or the image or the appearance? Are you really in this to help people? Especially in the mental health field.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really important that... I mean, I'm not saying all nurses are not important. Everybody's essential. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like mental health is so like... It's such a like sensitive place because it's like they don't have anything physically wrong with them.
Yeah.
So it's like the best thing that they have is their voice. That they're, you know, hey, this hurts, and what hurts is usually I'm depressed, I'm anxious, or you got to just be able to see that in them.
Yeah.
And like act on it. You know what I mean?
It takes a certain level of empathy for you to be in that field.
Right.
And if you don't have it, like you're really doing a disservice. But I think some people come there because they feel like they don't have to do a lot of medical tasks.
Right.
So they're like, okay, I'm going to have an easy day.
Let's talk about purpose. I talk about this word a lot because I feel like sometimes it's kind of overly used, or like maybe like used in like a way that makes you feel like you're supposed to be like doing this thing, this magnificent thing.
Like pressure?
Yeah, like to figure out what that is that you were created for. Do you feel like you're supposed to be like, are you on purpose right now? Do you feel like?
I kind of feel like your purpose is what comes natural to you. Like, I feel like I've always naturally like connected with different types of people.
Right.
And I feel like people, they gain something from me, even if it's just like they gain like laughing because maybe I tell jokes or they gain this or that. So I kind of feel like my purpose is really like connection. And so what I do with that is like,
whatever you choose to.
Like get in my career and like using that, to forward whatever career or business that I want to get into.
I love that because you put it like it's not so much something that you do, it's more about who you are.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean?
I don't think you put pressure, like I got to figure out my purpose.
And that's the thing. I think purpose is not about what you do. Like you can like, it's just what I am. Like it's like a hammer. A hammer is just a hammer. Like what you use that hammer for is up to you.
We all have natural talents, natural gifts and abilities. So I think those are your purpose.
That's a dope answer because I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I'm like always looking for like this thing like that I'm supposed to be busy doing, and I think like this culture, this era, like we're just wanting to find that thing, and it's not so much a thing, multiple things. You can do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like it's impossible to not be in your purpose.
Yeah,
like, you may not be using it like in ways that society seems beneficial or whatever, but you can't not be who you are. So even patients that are like, maybe they're like homeless or whatever, they're on the street. But if you talk to them, you might see like the spark in them, or you can have a conversation with them where they might make you laugh. Like, you can't not be in your purpose to me. Like if you're a creator, you're going to be creating.
And we're all creators.
Even if you're creating a group in a psych hospital, you're still a creator.
You're still a creator.
Yeah, like I don't think you can not be on purpose, like in your purpose.
It's just what you want to do with it.
Yeah, it's
not something you turn on or off.
No. I don't think so. Not to me.
And I feel like you can magnify your purpose.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can make it bigger.
I think like when people say like finding your purpose, it's like finding how that can benefit the most people.
Right.
Like,
Let's talk about how much you travel. That's one thing I have to touch on.
I love traveling. Traveling is my thing.
This woman has been like, that's another reason why we connected.
Yeah.
Like, because like one of my goals, one of my dreams was to just be able to like, I'm super intrigued by anything that's mysterious, that people can't explain, like the pyramids being built, the Great Wall of China, these things that are just so like...
The 7 wonders of the world.
Yeah, that are so mysterious to us, like as humans, right?
Yeah.
And like when I remember like meeting you one of the first times you were in the nursing station. And you were showing somebody your pictures from Iceland.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, she's been to Iceland. And the more we talked, I'm like, you kept talking about more and more trips. Like, I'm going here, I'm going to Japan. She went to Egypt for her birthday. I got to post a pic. She got the goat on the back in front of the pyramids, which is so dope.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just coming from where you're from, like, again, not where you started, but like, really, what you're doing is crazy. Like, where did that start? Like, you're traveling, like...
Where it started was, like the most random thing happened to me when I was when I was in 4th grade. I went to school in the hood, as I mentioned, and my grandfather was friends with like this guy who was like an assemblyman. He was an assemblyman for California.
Okay.
And he just randomly like wanted his kid to go. I think he wanted his kid, or he wanted some kids to go to start traveling.
Okay.
So he's like sponsored a trip for like my elementary school to have people go to go on this trip, and we were going to China if you could write an essay.
Wow.
Literally, this is how crazy it is about how people do not take opportunities because it's like, I mean, it's probably like 500 kids in this school.
Right.
They gave a spot. They said that I think they said like 5 or 6 people could go, like whoever wrote the best essay.
5 of y'all would get chosen.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to know how many people wrote the essay?
None.
5 or 6.
So like, you like
the only people the only people who wrote the essay went. No, there was no competition. But that shows how like why were you in that space? You had the opportunity of a lifetime.
Right, because guess
we were
what?
on Bud Long and 59th.
At
like,
my school, there was no trips of China being offered. Like,
it was the most random thing ever. It's probably never offered again there. Like, it was, it had to be most, like, yeah. And it's like, but they didn't even think to take advantage.
Man, that's
like,
crazy.
They didn't even have like an adult in their life to be like, this is what you need to do this. You know, my mom said she was real scared about me going over there. Because I went, but I mean, I didn't go with any family members. I went.
So you went to China. How old was you?
I was 10. Yeah, I was 10.
She was in China at 10.
Yeah, I was 10. So I think that's where it really started as like me seeing
that seed was like planted.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was really like the most random fluke of a thing. Like, man. And that's what really started the seed of me traveling, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoy seeing other cultures, and I enjoy seeing the Seven Wonders because I like to see just greatness. Like, that's just like
just
these are things that like
greatness.
It's unexplainable greatness. Like, nothing, like there's no way that this was created without someone having
of something.
because this was a thing that was created when it was impossible. They didn't have no vision for
supposedly.
And I feel like that's why I'm attracted to the Seven Wonders, is because like growing up in the hood, sometimes it feels like that.
Right, like you had to see something beyond that.
Like you don't see anybody that's
doing
like,
what you want to do, but you gotta believe that it's real.
You have to believe it anyway. So if they could do it on that level, then I could do it on the smaller.
And it's like that was like, I feel like those monuments. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like those monuments that are within the earth. I feel like that's just God's way of like, because them things could have been like, you know, like the Great Wall could have been destroyed. Pyramids could be demolished. You know, there's like a lot of history that we never will know about because it was just ruined through time, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's certain things that were left just as a reminder, like humans did this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
at a time with no machines.
Yeah, don't look at yourself as like something so small, because humans like who were here before you did this.
And it's all because somebody had it in their mind.
It all started with the belief that they could do it.
The mind can make the Great Pyramids. But you think that you in the hood and you can't be a doctor? Like, come on now.
That's the word.
You can do whatever.
Man.
You could do whatever.
Say it again. If the mind can make pyramids and you in the hood and you don't think you can be a doctor, that's a word.
And I like to also like just prove to myself, like, you remember when you saw this in the book when you were 5 or 6, and now it's real and you're here. Because how many people will never see? It's a lot of people that will never see it. But you know, really no reason that they're not seeing it. You could go see it,
man. But you know what I would tell my younger self? I know, to go back to that is like you said, it's gonna be okay, and I got you, because you know how hard it is to become a 35-year-old woman and look back at and still remember the dreams you had at 5 or 6 without like being discouraged to still want those, or still like you saw a place in a magazine and you held on to that thought and that belief that I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Without like giving that up, like that's big. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like your younger self
so many visions. Like you kind of have to be kind of insane, because I held on to so many visions, because I would really just spend hours picturing myself being something, walking like it, talking like it, like you know, I would spend hours just acting like kind of like a play by myself.
That's what this is, though. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like you have to be it, and then it comes. Like become. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't like expect it to show up in your world. Like, you have to move exactly how the person that you say you want to be moves. How do they talk? How do they dress? You know what I mean? So that way you can attract that to your world.
Yeah.
So I think that's super dope. Like when it comes to your travel, like that's something that I definitely want to do more of. Like this year, in the coming years, like because I know it's going to expand me.
Yeah, it does. Every time, every trip.
Yeah.
Every trip expands you.
Like you've been to Iceland. Tell them where you've been. Like Iceland, Japan. This is all within the last year.
Yeah, last year I went to Japan, Egypt, Jordan, London. I don't recommend London. Nothing tastes like anything. So it's like if you go there, like
it's hyped up.
Bring your old seasonings in a bag. Like nothing.
Is your hot sauce ready?
Nothing tastes like anything, and they don't have any sauces for you. Like they're not gonna help you.
What do they call them? The macaroons? Is that where the macaroons is at?
Girl, I don't know. I was so disgusted. Listen, by the time I got to my like second meal or third meal, it didn't taste like nothing. I was like, let's wrap this up.
Right.
Yeah, but I did want to see, like, you know, I just like to see the book stuff in the books. I want to see Buckingham Palace and London Bridge, all that. So I saw that. I seen what I needed to see. I don't ever need to. You don't need to see
it again. But I think that's so dope though. Like the fact that you like. it just gives you so much more like culture, so much more diversity, so that you can like expand yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, people have you have to see, you know, the world outside of America for sure. Like, there's so many different types of people that are into so many different types of things, and you just never know what's going to be the one that spark you. You know, you might end up doing business internationally.
Right.
You don't have to stick to business in America or business in a community.
And we're so limited in our view here, like to think that America's the only like.
It's not like
the only neighborhood. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, people think Americans are the only ones that don't have accents. We do have an accent.
We do have an accent.
We are from a different place. Like,
compared to them, we have an accent.
We have an accent compared to them.
You sound funny too.
Yeah, exactly. You sound funny to them, but we swear, like, you know.
We swear we're the best. We're the most. Yeah. Like, everybody thinks that about
I've been to a lot of countries where I feel like I look at it and I'm like, oh, I wish we would adopt that more. I wish we were like this. Like Japan, like their customer service is excellent, and they don't take tips. I'm like, you're doing this for free. Like, America, but don't
they have like robots? A lot of robots like running stuff now.
They have a lot of tech. Yeah, they have a lot of technology, tech out there. Right? Yeah, it's high tech, and but really mostly what I was impressed with was like how kind people are, how safe it is, and the customer service. Like, our waitress at Nobu Tokyo went outside. She asked us like, how did we get there? We're like, oh, we got a taxi. So we didn't see her no more. We getting our coats and stuff.
Yeah.
Girl in the bathroom. Like, we took kind of a while.
Right.
And we went outside. She was outside. She had held 2 taxis for us. She was freezing outside.
So she was ahead of the game.
She said, yeah, and she didn't. They don't take tips. Like, tips are
so this was off the strength of I'm just being.
I'm like, I'm like, you did this out of like from your heart, like, just cause. I would like more of our culture to be. Because it takes that with people you love, you can't really be so transactional. Right. It hurts the relationship. So I think that we would benefit from taking some of that from another culture like Japan, for sure.
Even down to like social media. Like, people feel like if you don't have anything to offer them, oh, you have X amount of followers. Like, me. You know, connecting or collaborating with you won't benefit my platform. So it's, you know what I mean? You might have missed somebody who's really dope. You might have missed out just because the transaction didn't look like what you thought it would have. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to like look at everything as value. Yeah. Like, somebody's presence alone is just valuable.
And we value the wrong thing. So we're looking at the value.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the things that we value are necessary. It's not like they're not necessary especially to survive in America.
Man, this is so dope. I'm so glad you got a chance to come through the Don't Recycle project. Like, what would you tell the next generation? Like, I know you won't tell your younger self much, but if you could tell the younger kids or anybody, like, you know, who's watching, like, not even kids, just somebody out there who is like, they just looking for answers, like, on how they can become their best self, and they might be at a point where they feel stuck. Like, man, this is it for my life. What would you tell them?
I would say, like, never stop learning. Like, that's the most important. Is like, never stop learning. Gravitate toward what comes natural to you.
Yeah.
And don't compare yourself to anybody. Nobody is who you want to be. Completely. Even if you want certain aspects of somebody. You like nobody.
Take what you can.
Yeah, the complete person is not what you want to be. Take what you can from them.
Right.
And let it inspire you to move to the next thing.
And become the best you.
Yeah, and move on. But just, you know, take it easy. I mean, we live in a society that's really worse than we were, in the sense of, like, you know, comparison and just like having all these images, social media, you don't know what to follow, you don't know what to do.
Overwhelming. Like,
so, like, try to quiet yourself, maybe build, like, you know, like meditation practice or something, and some type of spiritual practice where you can quiet yourself and figure out what is really like gravitating towards you and not so much what everybody's pushing in your face.
That part.
That's what I'll say. Yeah.
That's key. What you just said, like, we got to touch on that for a second. Spirituality, like, you have to have something that grounds you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, because it's so much stimulus, like, from social media. We just take so much in, and you can, like, get lost in it.
Yeah.
Like, as far as, like, we talked about purpose, but it's like, I feel like a lot of us, like, are depressed or so, like, we just feel like we're so lost because you're looking around, you're comparing yourself, and you see this person, this might have worked for them. Especially in this culture, like, where there's so many opportunities, there's so many ways to make money, so many opportunities. Like, it's easy to get lost in that and, like, lose, like, what you actually are interested in, what you actually love and enjoy doing, just off the strength of what somebody else is doing.
Yeah.
So, like, being able to, like you said, silence your mind and ground yourself, like, that's so important.
Yeah, and if you think you like something, experience it in real life. Get a mentor, do an internship. Don't sit here and just watch videos of it.
Yeah.
Like, because people present things as what they aren't all the time.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, get an internship, don't be afraid to get a mentor, even if you have to pay for a mentor. Like, because I paid for mentors before in certain, aspects. Like, you want, sometimes to get the best, it's America, they're charging for it.
You got to charge. Right.
But
and they've worked years for their knowledge.
Exactly. So
it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So sometimes you gotta, work hard to prove yourself or pay for it or whatever you got to do, but try to get into the space and experience it for yourself, see what the vibes are, see if if that's really what you want to do, and then progress into it. Don't just take it off of social media.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you feel like as far as like, because the word mentor, it's like, it seems easy, but like when it comes to like finding a mentor, like,
first of all, I don't listen to nobody who doesn't have what I want. So like, you're not going to tell me, give me financial advice and you don't have no money. You're not giving me relationship advice and you're not in a relationship.
That part.
Like you have to
you cannot be an expert on something that you are not actually
Yeah, I need to see results.
Right.
And I'm not buying nothing from nobody who it makes all their money from the book, but not actually from the thing that they're trying to teach.
That part.
Yeah, so you just have to research people. You have to be mindful that there's definitely scammers and like just see who people are for real. My favorite type of mentors are people that I know, like through or I know through like relationships, like this person is a friend of this person or something like that.
Right.
But that's not always possible because sometimes we grow up in environments that don't have those type of people.
Right.
But I would say just research them. Make sure that they're making money in the field or, doing the thing that you're doing before and they were successful prior to them starting to sell courses or do mentorships, get
they're not
referrals.
Successful because of the course that they're selling.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like reaching out to mentors though, like how do you feel like, because I mean, it can be intimidating, you know what I mean? Like feeling like, dang, like, is this person gonna, like, do you feel like somebody should like DM somebody? Like, how do you find a mentor? Like, it sounds easy.
I mean, I'm insane, so like I feel like I'm on the same vibrational level as anybody that's gonna mentor me already. I just don't have the knowledge to get me there. But I feel like also like they can feel it. Like I feel like people don't waste their time pouring into somebody who they don't see potential in. They don't see like that like they're kind of like, even though you're not on the same physical level, that you have what it takes inside of you.
They see it in you.
So I would say first, before you reach out to a mentor, develop inside what you would need to become that person, so that you can even be able to receive that. Exactly.
That they're gonna drop on you.
Because they're gonna tell you a bunch of stuff and you're gonna throw it away. Giving like,
and now you wasting your time, their time.
Yeah, it's going to be useless. So I think I would say develop those characteristics first, and then once you do that, then the confidence will come. For you to be like, okay, my next step, all I have left is I need somebody to show me.
Just show me.
Yeah, and then you'll be hungry for it, and you'll know how to.
But I feel like that comes from like you gotta start, like you know what I mean.
You have to start. You can't be from zero. Yeah,
I can use a podcast mentor, like.
But you have a podcast.
If somebody with a bigger podcast wants to come along and say, look, Rose, here's how you can make Don't Recycle go to the next level, and they got a podcast that's booming. Like I feel like they would be willing to teach me because they see I'm already attempting on my own.
Because you're already attempting. If you went to a big podcast that was like, you be my mentor, I've never been in front of a camera before.
It's like, what we supposed to help?
Yeah, like I don't know how to talk, and I don't have nothing to say.
So you basically gotta just get.
And I don't know what my podcast is gonna be about. They'd be like, girl,
but I want a podcast.
Yeah, but can you give me the like what?
Right, so that goes back to like you have to start.
You have to know where you're going and build those characteristics.
And the rest will come. Like the mentors, the knowledge, all of it will come. The experience. That's so dope. Like I really feel that. So yeah, man, I'm so glad we got a chance to sit down. I want you to shout out the brand you got on. Like you're rocking like a super dope,
so I got this hoodie is this is called Cool Ass Black Woman. I actually went to high school with the owner of this company. So I really like it because I feel like, as Black women, we've had a long road. We have a lot of stereotypes.
Right.
Like you said, they're not used to seeing me in certain spaces. We have so many, different obstacles. And I feel like this brand is more like about building that confidence, that's needed to navigate the world and navigate the different obstacles that we have, and just like encouraging each other. So I like Wear Cool Ass Black Woman because I like to uplift other Black women, and I like to improve myself, because as people see me progress, other Black women will see it. Maybe small, girls. Exactly, and they see it, and they might come to me for advice or come to me for mentorship.
Right.
And so it's kind of like about a unity thing too. you know, but just like having the confidence and being able to unify and just being, you know, being cool, being that you can be whatever you want.
You're relatable.
Yeah.
You're touchable.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm not but so also, far from you that I can't like help show you how, you know, guide you.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you look like somebody that can be related to, so therefore it looks possible for the next person. You know what I'm saying? Who might have come from your same background.
Representation for sure. Like, and I just want to be able to show, you know, any black woman that, you know, you could do anything. I mean, right now we're vice president right now. We're doing whatever. You know what I mean?
We're doing our thing.
We're doing our thing. So that's, to me, like, you know, it's just like the diversity too, because sometimes we get put in a box like, oh, black women are just this or just that, but there's such a range, you know, and if you're anything outside of black, you know, outside of what black women are perceived to be, then they may say like you're white because you talk proper, or they may say
big
like,
words,
yeah, so like things like that. So just
it takes away from your blackness.
Yeah, so it's just basically about like the range.
The range, like
the range that black people have.
Like we're two nurses sitting on a couch talking about. But I feel like we cool, like we still with it, like, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, we got degrees. We're not. I mean, I'm a music artist, but we're not on here talking about like
and
the
we can do it all.
Drama
You don't have to choose. You don't have to choose. You could be an artist and be a nurse
and be a teacher, you know what I'm saying. But like we don't gotta talk about like
all of that's cool as black woman, all of it
to like make things like entertaining, like We have range, like you said, and I think that's so dope. Yeah. So shout out to the brand. I'm gonna have to grab a hoodie.
Shout out
to
the brand, yeah.
Shout out to the brand.
Yeah, she's doing some good work with it, so check her out. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the people before we end?
I just feel like for Don't Recycle Project, you know what, I really thought it was a cool name when you first came to me, because it makes people think like, why wouldn't I recycle?
Why would I not recycle?
But you know, the not recycling generational trauma thing, I think that it's so deep, it's so broad, like it's so many things to touch on that I really think like it's really like a lifelong mission. Like
it really
for you,
is.
You know, and I hope that others like, you know, get involved in not recycling generational trauma and carry the torch, right? Because it's really not something that anybody can do on their own.
It's not. Yeah. It's so much bigger than me. Like it started off as just me, like with like as far as the name goes. Yeah. But the more I'm doing this, I was talking today to my mom, and I'm like, this couch, like this platform that I'm creating, it's like this. Don't Recycle is the voice. Yeah. This is not me though. Like Don't Recycle is its own entity. I'm just actually working for Don't Recycle.
Yeah, you're the vessel.
So anybody else who's on this couch is also Don't Recycle is the voice. You know what I'm saying? We all have a voice. We all got a story. We all got something that we like. We are not recycling. You know what I'm saying? And it's like anybody who sits on this couch on this show, like. I want it to be like, you know, we're all in this, like informing the next person. Because
we all have something that we should not recycle.
Right.
You know, and we have to learn to like find out what it is that we shouldn't recycle, like generationally, but also like not blame the past generation for their mistakes.
Right.
Because
just do better.
Yeah, we're gonna do better, and then the next generation gonna do better than us.
Carry the torch.
You gotta do your part. Though. Yeah, you gotta do your part.
And this is just us doing our part. Like this ain't gonna fix it.
Not gonna fix
but
all
this
of
is gonna hopefully pass the torch, because my two daughters are sitting here watching, and I know they're going to hopefully take it a step further and not have the same. They're not gonna have the same place that I started. Yeah. That's not gonna be where they finish at. You feel me? Or it's not gonna be where they even start.
Right.
I just want to take them a little bit further from where I started, so that they can go a little further.
Make the next generation a little bit better. You know, and
like they're gonna know about credit. They're gonna know about like LLCs.
They didn't know about anything.
I didn't know about anything. But then again,
they just throw you out at 18. Like,
but then again, my parents like really didn't. You know what I mean? They were figuring it out.
Exactly. So
it's like, how could they teach me something they that was foreign to them?
Yeah. So we have to break that. We have to.
So it's like we're not all healed. Like we're like one of us healed is not like we all have to heal in order for us to be healed.
And help each other.
It's not just about me getting up the mountain and looking down at y'all like, ha ha, I made it. Have fun in the hood. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're not all healed until we get to the top, and we all celebrating. We all got the knowledge.
Right.
We all feel good. We all wake up feeling like, you know what I mean? Like the world is my playground.
Yeah. Each one teach one.
Each one teach one. That's what I'm on. Yeah. So man, shout out to you. Where can they find you on socials?
Oh man, look, I'm not Insta famous. You ain't gotta follow me, but my Instagram is Sandy M Webb, but
she don't want to be followed.
I don't accept people I don't know.
But you know, she love fried. You know what I mean? But not for real. I'm so glad that you was able to sit down. This is my friend in real life, so I'm so glad we was able to sit down.
Yeah,
have a conversation and just talk about. Hopefully, you guys gained something from this episode that was gonna like spark a thought. Definitely, you don't start how you start is not how you finish.
No, it's not.
Find you a mentor.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to start and try new things.
Yeah, your purpose is already with you.
Your purpose is who you are every day.
Yeah.
Everything you touch is purposeful.
Yeah.
Everybody you touch is purposeful. Just continue, like, just make sure that you're like intentional about how you're using your purpose.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wrap it up right there. Like, I appreciate you. Continue to recycle your environmental waste, like plastic. Take care of the earth that we all live in.
Yeah.
And let's take care of one another. Until next time, please follow us on IG at Don't Recycle Project. Stay blessed.